Rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ati Allah, ati Rasulul amri minkum. And always a reminder for myself, ana abdukul ajis da'ifu miskinu zalim jahal. And but for the grace of Allah that we're still in existence. Alhamdulillah, inshaAllah Allah grant us to enter into the holy month of Rajab. Subhana man huwa khalaqun nur. And we described last week is the secret of Allah bringing light into existence, and that Allah is a hidden treasure wanting to be known. And in this world of malakut and the immense amount of knowledges and realities that are flowing for the servants, and the amount of zulm and darkness that exists within this earth. And for us, with all the people whom they're giving their khidmat and service, and now making images and animes, putting the AI and information, that alhamdulillah this is an immense spreading of knowledges. This is immense fighting against zulumat and darkness, that we see the actions of shaitan and we counter it with knowledges. And when they gave us the information of the immensity of this ocean of guidance, they understand the 6 directions in which shaitan is attacking. And our people online whom are of an immense ignorant state, they only want to say, give me daleel, because they are of a people whom are close-minded and hollow capability within what Allah has given. As a result, it's always, I need proof, but we don't care to give you proof. If you don't know in your heart and you don't meditate and contemplate and try to evaluate the reality, but you live by a quick response versus a life of contemplation, this is not meant for you. You can be the food of what things are opening upon this earth. And this knowledges is a tremendous safety in the last days. They show events on the news and then cover them and say that some young people brought a device. They turned on a device and immediately a field of energy opened and creatures came through. We see the great… As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments, and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greatness of Islam because of what Prophet sent for us as inheritance, which is knowledge. Knowledge has power, ignorance leaves people into servitude, to be enslaved by fear. The one whom doesn't have knowledge, doesn't seek knowledge, will be enslaved by the shackles of their own ignorance, because they'll live in a sense of fear. This is what they count on. That's why they're Illuminatis. They try to think they have knowledge. They recruit people that, why you don't come to us so that we can give you the sacred knowledges. And their concept of knowledge is not to propagate but to keep the masses in a state of ignorance, because you can rule by ignorance. And the heavens comes to teach from Allah's decree that the knowledges are free for mankind, and that knowledges are power, and that the knowledge will set you free from the shackles and the binds of shayateen and all whom operate and work for them. That this realm of the jinn and the unseen that's so unknown to them and to the masses of people, but I'm sure those in authority they know what they're doing. But to the mass of people, they hope that people remain in a state of ignorance and don't know. And we described before that at every moment this is related to the energy world, and that they don't have to make a portal. They merely exist within a realm that they step right into this realm. They don't have to make a very complicated device. As a matter of fact, they've already made the devices. So when we don't understand energy, we don't understand sickness, we don't understand anything that's affecting our spiritual being and physical being, because you are governed by your spiritual energy, just like a mechanical device. This can be the best car, but if the engine is bad and the fuel is bad, what you going to do with a car that doesn't move? So no matter how we are perfected outside, these creatures depend on us not knowing the inside, so that they can adhere themselves to people and bring about dis-ease, sicknesses, difficulties, mental difficulties, physical difficulties. Our battle is with them. The battle upon this earth are not with people, the people are governed by them. They're the ones whom wish to enslave this earth, and the heavens is prepared to battle them back. The advent of Dajjal and his movement upon the earth, these are his minions, these are his armies. That whatever personality that he appears in of a soft and pleasant nature, it's but a disguise. Prophet gave to us that he's going to come like a paradise for people, but know that he's Jahannam. Even his own personality will talk like paradise. People will swear that what he's saying is going to take us to paradise, and Prophet said, no, whatever he tells you is going to take you to hell. And if he tells you, don't follow me, you'll go to hell, take that door. So definitely we don't want anything to do with you and what you consider to be paradise. This is a ticket to hell. The hell that you offer is our paradise. Without knowing these understandings, and again the ignorant people come from shaitan like dogs. You're on a parade, and a beautiful parade marching to the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad. This takfiri madhab are dominated by shayateen, and they release them like dogs onto a beatific parade that's praising, mentioning beatific words, good character. They're so disturbed by it. So you see all these beatific videos are being released talking about love, talking about energy, and the only barking ones in there is that madhab. Because shaitan releases the dogs upon these groups of love and ishq and muhabbat. Why? Because it knows that these are the ones who will fight him, these are the ones whom will beat him, these are the ones who will bring his shayateen under their dominion, under their control. If what Sayyidina Sulaiman had is not but a drop in the ocean of Sayyidina Muhammad, who said that, kingdom come and thy will be done. Means when Allah begin to show the izzat and might of Allah and the will of Allah, where the shaitan's going to hide? But now is the illumination stage of knowledges. So what are their portals? People think, oh, they brought a device and something happened. these devices are everywhere in our homes. So you take the knowledges are like beads of a tasbih you string together. You turn on the television, it's a portal for them. You turn on your radio, it's a portal for them. Every type of electronic device, because they're a smokeless energy, they are moving through electricity. They move through the manifestations and energy of electricity. So when you turn on a movie, they're coming through straight. If you could see, you would see them coming all through the screen. You turn on music, why music moves you? Because these beings are coming through. So now we have an understanding that the sound will affect these portals, the visuals will affect these portals. We call portals because this is a popular word in their news. Because people say, where's the daleel for this? Narrow-head people. We're trying to talk in their words to reach them. We don't need to educate ourselves, but we're trying to educate them. So Prophet talked to people in their language and in their understanding. This is the hikmah of awliya, coming and say, oh what portal? You turn your TV on, they're coming. You turn the radio on, they're coming. Any type of energy movement within the home, they're coming through. And as a result they are of a negative energy. Once they come through, because Allah now people again will say, where's your proof? Go back and you have to study your own understandings and tafsirs. They are 10 times our creation. If Allah created one roach, He created 10 times in their world. If Allah created a snake in this world, 10 times they have snakes. Everything that we have, they have 10 times the amount of that. Spiders, 10 times the amount of spiders, 10 times the amount of creatures and dogs and cats and every type of creation that Allah made within the realm of ins and humans, 10 times their amount is in their world. Their movement is throughout our existence, throughout our homes, everywhere in the home. Now imagine in old times you would have a house, all sorts of bugs are coming through because you live in the wilderness. Every type of scorpion is coming through, snakes even coming through people's things, you have to shoo them and broom them out. Because we sanitized our environment as we think we did, people don't feel that familiarity anymore, that bugs are coming through, they get scared and frightened by a physical bug. But their realm has always been like that, they stay, they're all over the homes of people. So all of these creatures, what we call from the jinn world, and their nations are immense. Gog and Magog are 2 different nations. Each within them is 400,000 different jinn nations. Mawlana Shaykh's tafsir. So immense, imagine how big our nations are. Then Allah is giving to them, every partition the light 10 times is their world. So it means their energy is everywhere. They don't want us talking about energy, they don't want us teaching about energy because it affects them. So the people of that teaching, they're not taught energy. But the people whom are under the tutelage and teachings of awliya, that's all they teach, because they're from the malakut and the world of light, and they teach to us that everything brings their energy into our environment. They eat and their sustenance is the taking of energy, like a breath, how we breathe to survive. Their sustenance and rizq is in the breathing. They breathe in the food. So what Prophet gave for us is that when you make aqiqah, take the bones, don't break the spine, bury the bones for your brothers of the jinn nations, they will take from that sustenance. Just from that hadith you understand they're taking the energy of creatures. They thrive off of, why the bone? Because the energy within the marrow of the bone is the source of our blood and our existence. They thrive off of the energy of the body, the marrow of the body, and every aspect of their sustenance is by inhaling. So they breathe in energy. Now go back to the adab of Islam. So we said that because our guys will now make nice animes, videos and graphics. You understand your opponent, he's unseen, they're unseen, they're creatures. Their sustenance is by breathing. They merely go over the meat and begin to breathe. They go over your bread, begin to breathe. They go over your water, breathe the energy of it. That's their way of sustaining, your way is eating. So what Prophet gave to us, cover it. Stop them from taking the energy from your food. So you're supposed to cover your cup. You get a nice glass cup, order the sticker of the taweez, put the taweez on it and put that glass cup on everything. On a plate, you get a nice glass plate, put the taweez in the middle, you cover everything. Because our cultures used to cover everything. You make a dish, you cover it. Until people are ready they take the cover off, they eat it. Why? So that the snakes, the rats, the roaches of their world, Allah gave them a boundary. When the believer follows Allah's way, they cover, they can't take from that sustenance. So our fight with them is to restrict their sustenance. And that's why we cover our water, cover your drink, cover your food, because they're going to pull the energy of it. So you had to do that by faith. When people lost faith, but Allah's rahmah and mercy came and taught. And they came back later and said, oh, why we left the bread and it became kapak, what do you call fungus. They didn't understand how something was thriving and in a matter of time, a day, maybe a few hours, you see a fungus growing. What is that? These creatures took the life force out, and what they left behind we call bacteria, like their waste. They are the bacteria. People didn't know that, they just were seeing things going bad. Allah's rahmah, it gave them a microscope. They turn on the microscope, they see the creatures. What we call these jinn, you see their snakes and you see their worms. Have you seen the worm that eats? It looks like a worm with has no head, it's just the teeth, and it goes around eating. So the bacteria is the waste and them. And you can see it with a microscope. We had to believe it without seeing it. But with the advent of science, they know there's a dimension in which your physical eyes don't see, and they're now looking at them, and these are creatures and they're eating your sustenance. If they're eating the sustenance, you think they stopped at the bread, or they eat you too. You're the kebab, right? When they want the bread, they said, this guy's got a lot of energy. So when we understand that they're going to come to take energy from everything, not only the different things in our home, but we are the greatest source of energy from all of them, from the rats to the human versions of them, humanoid, what we call full-blown jinn of different races. They're going to breathe for their sustenance. They come over people and begin to breathe out their life force. As a result of them coming to touch and breathe upon somebody, they begin to become ill. Why? because they're pulling the energy out and as a result damaging the cells in the body that's in. They move inside the being through their blood, and this is what Prophet brought for us. Shaitan runs through your blood. So then how would you fight sickness? Prophet described fast. They're in your blood, they're inside of you, taking your food, changing your diet to be heavy in sugar. Why heavy in sugar? Because they thrive in a bacterial environment. They're the ones inspiring, like parasites. They enter in and keep pushing the person for a diet that will destroy them but will increase their numbers within the person. As we understand then they're operating within us, they're taking energies off of us, because this has to do with the torque of the gravity of shaitan is pulling. He pulls people and they don't understand why. Why is because they need food. So when they won't eat you, Prophet described, cover your head. Why? Because there's an energy point upon your head. When the head is not covered, that energy is flowing out like a fountain. As a result, it attracts their attention. And when you attract their attention, they come all around the head and they again begin to pull the energy, source of every sickness. It's not a fashion, it's not a choice you say, I want it, I don't want it. They don't care. What Allah wants, what Prophet wants is that you're in a fight with them, you better understand who you're fighting. When they can breathe their sustenance, everything we do has to counter them. So when they inspire you to uncover your head, why do uncovered people age extremely fast? Covered people, they have light upon them and they don't age fast. Look at the Hollywood, Bollywood people. By 50 they look like a dead apple. So we said fashion wasn't just a fashion statement, we said that he's pulling you to eat you. And the eating process they're describing now. So when you take this cover off, they're taking your energy source, and these people from that industry that are completely sort of leaving their body to be eaten by these creatures, they age like you've seen those apples where they pull all the energy out of the apple and it came all shrinked up. As a result of how he destroys people, he wants them to be temporarily fooled by putting makeup on yourself, because he doesn't want you to see the effects of how he's killing you and eating you. And the people of Allah they don't need that. When they keep the system and the law that Allah brought, they are protected from these shayateen. Just like the food is protected from them to be not to be eaten. The rizq is not halal for them, they can't eat it. It's uncovered, they have permission to eat it. When you're covered, they can't attack you. These are the boundaries Allah has put upon creatures. And as a result, you don't get sick from that. They're not aging you. But when He ages the people, He has to hide the damage He has done for them, and they begin to put all sorts of false covers upon themselves so they can pretend to themselves and their fellow people who have been eaten that you look wonderful. You don't look wonderful, you're only hiding the effects of what shaitan has done. But the people of Allah they have a natural light and illumination within their hearts, and the beauty that they emanate is the beauty of the soul that emanates a light. And so much light that it nourishes all the cells of their body and keeps them to be fresh, right? Very pious people even they enter the state of death, they're fresh in the grave because their soul is still illuminating that body and protecting that. When we understand how they're attacking at every angle. So we said now their sustenance is to breathe. The counter and the fight will stop them from breathing. So what do you do then to stop them from breathing? Prophet preferred oudh. Why oudh? Because a lot of people have a hard time breathing oudh. Why do they have a hard time breathing oudh? Because the creatures all around them, they can't breathe that environment. Again, these are the boundaries that Allah has put upon creatures. In the house, we said before, when you burn esfand, the wild rooh seed from paradise that the angels brought upon the earth, soon as you slightly let the fragrance out, not to burn it like a charcoal and make the house like charcoal, the fragrance of the esfand stops their breathing. That's how they take their sustenance. Somebody come and grab your neck, it's not going to be very long that you're going to be standing there, you're going to run out. So the time I enter this guy's house, they grab my throat, I can't breathe. This is the battle for them. So when we say they're going to take our sustenance, then what's our battle with them? Cover everything. Anything exposed to them, they're going to try to attach to your leg, attach to your arm. That's why we say the majestic sunnah is such an immense protection, so that they can't adhere, and that the barakah and the blessings of everything covered is a protection against what they're trying to do. So their breathing, our counter and our fight is with fragrance. If the home has an energy, change the energy with esfand. Put upon yourself your oudh, fragrance the house in an environment that they can't stand that fragrance, and that begins the process of that battle. The energy that coming through on the house by daily effect of television, radio, it's not that you can cut it, but you have to counter that energy with what we taught about. As soon as you turn the zikr on in the house, you turn Dalail, Khairat and our broadcasts on the house, these are backed by Rijalullah. You put other things, I don't know who's backed by, I don't know where that Pepsi video and Coca-Cola studio is doing. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the sounds emanated from these authorized representatives of the heavens, because they're teaching you. As soon as these sounds emit, they too have jinn that are coming through, and they have budar, nujab, nuqab, autad wal akhyar, malaika wa jinn. They have 7 categories of beings that are released in every broadcast. As soon as you turn the broadcast on, they're in like horsemen riding into the home, come in with lights and swords of lights, in which they just keep whirling these swords of light to attack everything nefarious within the environment. And this is what Allah gave to us as a battle against them, because if they're going to come through sound, our guys also come through sound. Turn on the salawats and Prophet's armies are coming through. Put Dalail Khairat, the armies of the heavens of Prophet are coming through. Counter everything that shaitan is doing. If he wants to take and breathe your energy, block him from breathing the energy. Carry the majestic sunnah, put your head to be covered, carry your beard. The beard is an energy point that protects what they're going to take from the throat. And as a result, when the rijal have a beard, Allah supports their holy tongue to speak. When they have no beard, shaitan is playing with them, he owns their tongue. There was a reason and an energy that Allah gave to everyone. We said the sunnah is a full battle against their world. You wear the ring, is the sunnah of Prophet what he gave to Sayyidina Sulaiman salam. If Sayyidina Sulaiman had a ring that controls the mulk, what do you think the sunnah of Muhammad has for his nation? You have your ring. In your energy battle when you're going to fight energy, then the energies that are coming up your feet, because they're like raiding, like a movie from, what's the movie we like and always talk about, Lord of the Rings. They're raiding from the feet, in the millions they're on the floor. As soon as you step somewhere they're coming up. You go to the malls and very open areas, they come in billions. All negative energies that have been riding their human to give them all the bad desires. They come in billions trying to come up your foot. And as a result your spiritual practices, your energy, your sunnah is safeguarding your heart. But then Allah gave to us an asaa, that as soon as you walk around those areas with an asaa, you're grounding the energy so that actually you can bring the positive in and the negative you can purge. Without the purging and the grounding wire, the energies would begin to clash, and as a result of clashing they go home with stomach pain and they go home with back pain. Because if you don't give a release, what happens when one force of energy comes up, and then if you're pious and you do your practice, another force of energy is coming down, where do the two meet? And what Prophet taught, because they always ask for daleel, is the root of every sickness is in the stomach. Why? We're teaching you why. Because all the dunya creatures of their nations are coming up your feet to attack you, to go after your heart. They want the good meat, they want the meat that has all the energy. So they come up and start to go for your heart. Your zikr, your protection, all your practices has so much illumination, it pushes it down. So then the power of the asaa is that it grounds and pushes out the negative energy for men or for women. It doesn't matter, it's a sunnah, all pious people have their asaa. So it means this is then the battle for that reality. So they take us by fragrance, means this is going to be their sustenance on how they eat, how they survive. They take us by energy, and then now movement. Why do you make salah? Allah doesn't need your salah. But when Allah wants to train you, it's called sacred movement. Everything that we do and every movement that we have is opening energy, because we're energy beings. So what we have is sacred movement and then demonic movement, because the energy world is right there. As soon as you make intention is by calling your azan. What's happening? That what we described of the 7 categories of beings, they heard you're about to do an energy practice and they come to be present with your salah. That's why, As-salamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa ibadallahi salihin, because you're entering now into this portal. So as soon as you call the azan and you begin to move, you say, Allahu Akbar, it's all sacred energy. That all the energy and all the angels and all the realities that are coming with the movement, as a result of that movement, that's carrying you into their presence. The angels that are present with the reality of alif, when you stand you're praying alif, ha, mim, dal. The angel in charge of alif is present with you, dressing you, lifting you, taking you into that presence. As soon as you're in ha and the realities of the oceans of hayat, the angel of hayat is dressing you, taking you deeper into that. Because they want to show us, they think it's like a portal and you have to make… The believer don't make anything, they just follow what Allah gave to them. Their movement are immense portals into the Divinely Presence. Not a million years of making a ship could they get into the Divinely Presence. But Allah gave for the believer, as soon as he calls the azan, makes intention and begins to move, the angels and all of the spiritual beings around them are producing energies. He stands from the azimat of alif, Allah moved him into presence. From the ha and the oceans of hayat, of the realities of Nabi Ahmad he's moving into the oceans of eternity. As soon as he goes into sujood, we said all our salah is the sujood, and it just so happens to be the meme. Because bayna ahad wa ahmad is a meme. Bahrul Muhit, everything exists within that meme. As soon as we go into meme, Allah addresses all the haqqaiqs of the meme. Because your heart is at the highest, and the sultan of your heart is Sayyidina Muhammad in Divinely presence of Allah. And as soon as you come out of your meme and tahiyyat, then Allah is dressing you from the realities of guidance. The Dalail Khairat, the one whom is most beautifully guided, especially from dunya. This is our portal to leave dunya. So Allah opens the reality of that dar. So it means sacred movement for us and moving into these energy realities. And we said that when you move into that energy reality, the salah for you is one of the greatest powers Allah can give to the servant. Why? Because he enters into the Divinely presence, doesn't even have to feel it. Because maybe his heart is dead and doesn't feel anything. But the haqqaiq doesn't change, only you change. One day you'll change, you say, I actually felt the prayer. Until then, fake it. Just do it. Because as soon as you do it, you're entering into these energies. And the energies that dress upon you, bless upon you, the power that dresses upon you can't be imagined by these shaitans and how you're going to fight them. That becomes the sacred energy. As soon as you sit for zikr, there's a circle of angels. This is the hadith that when you find the circles of paradise, sit with them, eat with them, drink with them. Why? Because everything they do is from the Arsh ar-Rahman, because the angels are following them all the way to the throne of Allah. Everything in their association of water is blessed, everything in the association of food is blessed. Even when you watch it online, you are partaking in that reality, because the angels ask, there's one sitting not even from them, and sat 5 minutes and Allah says, dress them from everything. What about the one whom believes and watching from home? Of course they're dressed by the haqqaiqs, and their home becomes this circle of paradises, because the angels are looking for the zikr. And every weekend you're turning your television on, the angels are not leaving anymore. They said, this person is Ahlul Zikr. Because they can't mention Allah's name without Allah's permission. Allah said, I won't let you mention my name in your home. Don't think you're clever that, oh okay I'll listen to it. You only listen to it if Allah lets you listen to it. Otherwise your house will never mention Allah's name, astaghfirullah. So it's a ni'mat and a gift from Allah. So we understood how they eat and how we're going to counter their eating, cover our food. They want to take our sustenance, that's why you fragrance yourself, fragrance your home. Don't let them to breathe in that environment. You need the energy of your movement, then understand every time you move it's going to create an energy. Make sure that it's positive. Now because they're all around and humans don't know what type of power they have, what happens when people are moving inappropriately? They're moving when they shouldn't be moving, listening to what they shouldn't be listening. What happens in that? They have a power. The other gender has immense spiritual power, more than a man's power, right? Because they have sir khalq, they have the secret of creation in their womb. They have an energy point in their womb and they have an energy point on the heart. Because of the two energy points they're highly emotional. Why? Because they're feeling all energies. When that individual moves in an inappropriate manner, creates a inappropriate energy vortex. Just like we described from the Salah, the angels come. This movement the angels don't come, they come. And as soon as the movement is beginning, as if you are summoning, going against the oudh, you're summoning every type of negativity. As soon as the negativity comes, they're getting excited because of the movement, because it's creating an energy and not a good energy. It's an energy with bad desires. They have the bad desires, they multiply the energy in that environment, and then the whole room will have bad desires. So again, insan doesn't know their power. They think it's something, no, what's the big deal? Well, because you can't see the big deal. You can't see that when you moved like that, all of a sudden they all came. And as a result, all of the inappropriate energies and inappropriate understandings, because they came. But when you want to move, you move for Allah. They move, they make their salah. The angels come, the budala come, all of the holy souls come. For the presence of Prophet why they had the sama and the hadara? Same. As soon as they would stand in their zikrs to honour the presence of Prophet, hadara means hudur and presence. As soon as they would begin to make these chants and these movements, all the spiritual beings would be present with them. As a result of being present with them, they would move the association into the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad. So the heavens has a counter for everything shaitan is doing. But shaitan rules by ignorance. When the guys make a video and show that, no, when you're moving inappropriately you're creating a vortex for all the shayateen to come, and as a result that energy is very difficult to get rid of, and it creates a very bad desire upon everybody in that room. When they understand that and then later they choose to do that, at least they can't claim to Allah they didn't know. When you don't cover your food you can't say, I didn't know. When I don't cover myself and don't fragrance myself you can't say, I don't know, and then why am I sick? Why do I have a disease? Why have they attached themselves to me? Because if you go long enough with no cover, no covering of your food, no covering of your understanding, then what Allah gave for you of wudu. And why wudu? Because water burns them. So your wudu is not for prayer, wudu is for every moment of your life, not only for salah. Our life, everything is ibadah, everything is worshipness. And it burns them and rids ourselves of them. If you don't have access to water, clean soil burns them. So the clean soil of the beach and sand, just the dust of it puts out the fire of these shayateen. So everything that Prophet brought for us was a fight against their kingdom. And the mu'min ones, alhamdulillah, their support, their belief, their love for Sayyidina Muhammad guards and protects us. They're the ones teaching that, tell your people how to defend against them. And why are they falling prey to them and moving into that direction? Because the more you feed them, the more the mu'min ones have to fight them. So they're wondering, why are you feeding them so much when we have to keep fighting them? Because they're guarding your home, but there's no walls. And you move inappropriately, they come back and say, well, why did you do like that? You know they actually will leave your home when you don't pray. Because they come back and complain to the awliya that this individual doesn't pray, doesn't create the energy for our existence in that environment. As a result, we're asking permission to leave that environment. And that the salah, the zikr and our good worshipness sanctifies their environment, or we make it toxic for their existence. That's why the adab of unseen, even entering into your house and reciting 3 qul and giving salams to ibadallahi salihin wal ghaibeen, because they're there. He said, anyone who enters their home like that, their rizq and sustenance and home will be protected. Why? Acknowledge the families that are there living with us. Make sure that the home has an environment that they are comfortable with, they are happy with, that there's praying, there's azan, there's salawats, there's zikr. and as a result their presence fortifies our environment, inspires within our heart. And this all hadith of Prophet they have to go back and study, or if you don't want to study then follow along until you gain the understanding inshaAllah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa hurmati Muhammad al Mustafa wa bi siri Surat al Fatiha. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. Inshallah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments, and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.